Slacking in the studio with my dad, Brian Geary.
I went to moved to Greenwich Village, and then from there I just went on the road as a stand-up comic.
Oh, nice.
And I just was everywhere. I was St. Louis, San Francisco, Chicago.
Oh, yeah, so you're all over the map.
Well, I was on the road. I lived wherever the nightclub was.
Yeah.
For about a year, I guess.
Yeah, because I was going to say that was my next question was like, what initially made you make the jump to LA?
Oh, no, that was a long trip. What made me do that? The money was what made me do that, which was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. But there's no regret. I got famous a different way. That was all. It's just I would have preferred to be a stand-up comedian. Yeah, period. Or be an improviser. What I did was I went to Greenwich Village, graduated college, went to Greenwich Village, became a stand-up comedian. I didn't want to be an industrial designer, which was what my degree was. I just went to college because my parents wanted me to go to college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and they wanted me to go to college, so that's something to do. But it was a mistake. I mean, once I was there, I just didn't want to be here, but I didn't want to quit because of my parents. So I went. It was a 5-year course, so it wasn't even 4 years. I stayed there for 5 years. I got a degree in industrial design, but I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't want to design cars. That's what everybody at Syracuse. That's where I went, Syracuse.
Nice.
Everybody at Syracuse in the industrial design department was going to be. It was like what do you call it? The A team for like baseball. In the boonies.
Yeah.
That's what colleges are to Detroit.
Gotcha.
Like the A and B teams. And I went there. I went to Detroit on Ford Motors dime. They flew me there with another, because I was like a A- student or something. I mean, I wanted to be an artist. That's my art. I want to be an artist.
Yeah.
And then I saw industrial design. That's what I saw. I said, design? Well, that's art. Okay. It was totally naive. That wasn't, but when I got there, I go, holy cow, calculus, and engineering.
Yeah.
Wow. I muddled through and, kept my grades up. But it was a grind. And then when I went to Detroit and I saw what was there, it was nothing like what I either A, thought it was going to be, or nothing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was just, what? This is industrial. So, and I didn't like any of their designs. That was, I spoke out. So they said, you don't want to be here, do you? I mean, they said that to me. You don't want to be here.
They knew.
I said, well, that's why I came here, to see if I wanted to be here. And so far, I was expecting more. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I was expecting more from Detroit. So it was a wash. So when I graduated, Carl Gottlieb, who wrote all the Jaws movies, or most of them anyway, he was my friend at Syracuse. So I said, hey, I don't want to go to Detroit. Where are you going? He said, Greenwich Village. I said, fine. You want a roommate? And he said, yeah, okay, let's go. So he wanted to write. He wanted to be in show business. And he was in the drama department. And I was hanging around with him, so I would get in a couple of plays and stuff like that. I kept up my marks and stuff, but I thought, yeah, well, show business, being on a stage, applause. So when we graduated, we got apartment together, and then he was writing for newspapers in New York, some small little newspapers. And I just was sweeping up in bars from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. And I thought that was kind of cool. It was something I chose to do
Right.
as opposed to college. Oh, sweeping up in bars. And I couldn't even tell my parents. I mean, but there was not, I just didn't, I didn't want to do anything. There was a lot of things I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So sweeping up in a bar or being a stand-up comedian was all the same to me. It just was. I wasn't in Detroit. I wasn't going to school. I wasn't living at home. It was all good. And so I had my nights free because, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. I started hanging around in Greenwich Village, and I said, I'm a funny guy. You get your 3-minute. I was going to open mic nights, so you can get, you get 3 minutes, and just. So I started doing 3 minutes, and I was pretty god awful. I mean, it's just like I was as good or bad as any person who would get up on the stage and try to do 3 minutes of comedy. It's just there's a way to do it. Now I can't. We can sit here and talk, and I can make you laugh. We can laugh and joke, but that's not show business.
Yeah, no.
That's different.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it's the same thing. I'm funny with my friends, so I just get up there and be funny with the audience. No. But my learning curve was pretty cool. I just picked it up. I mean, I guess I had a funny gene, something like that. I don't know. It just was very easy for me to pick up how to do it. And then in about 6 months, I was opening for Woody Allen, and I got his manager, and then I was on the road. And that's boom. And then I started to get into critical thinking, humor. George Carlin, Richie Pryor, Lenny Bruce. Boom, those. So then the cops started to show up and pulling me off the stage. And, I was touring with Love and Spoonful. And people were coming at me with beer bottles. Get the fuck off the stage.
Wow.
Bring
Yeah.
on the Kingston Trio. I was opening for big acts, but Miles Davis and Woody Allen and Kingston Trio and Ian and Sylvia,
It's huge.
Dave Ronk and Tom Rush. And I, just nightclub, leaders,
Yeah.
stars. And then I got into critical thinking, and so as I was opening for each of those stars, it was the stars' audience that I was playing to because I was opening for them. They weren't coming to see me; they were coming to see Woody.
Yeah.
So Woody thought I was funny, and his manager thought I was funny, but Woody's audience started to not like what I was saying,
Yeah.
And he was getting on television, and I wasn't. And I said, "Hey, why? Woody's on television. Why can't you get me on television?" "Because you curse on stage, Larry. You're talking about drugs and marijuana and rock and roll, and you can't do that on television in those days, the 60s.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, then I don't want to do it. I mean, if I can't do what I want to do, I was having fun. See, I didn't think about that Richie Pryor, Lenny Bruce, what happened to Lenny Bruce. And that was what Pryor and Carlin had to fight through. I mean, they came after him. So he bore the brunt of all the cops. And I mean, he was doing hard drugs, but when I was being pulled off by the cops and I wasn't doing any drugs, and that was my complaint.
Yeah, you're
I
like,
was saying, I'm not doing drugs. Why are you taking me off the stage? I'm not doing drugs. But they didn't care. You were saying, you were cursing. So that was, so I called Jack Rollins, my manager. I said, look, I can't do this. I'm a middle-class Jewish kid. I'm not doing drugs. Why are they pulling me off the stage? It's not fun. I don't, So he said, join Second City. They're doing what Carlin is doing and Pryor is doing. They can take the heat. You can't. So join Second City. They own the theater. They can't throw you out. The cops can't get in to throw you out.
yeah.
They're coming to see you. So, and then from there, we bolted from there, about 6 of us, and we went to San Francisco, opened the committee. So That's how I got to LA, long story long.
That's crazy. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then from there, LA was coming up to see us, because a $35 round trip ticket to fly up and back. So really, all the heavy hitters and the green lighters were flying up just to see this funny show that they heard about up in San Francisco. That was as good as the Second City, but it was right close to us. It was on the West Coast, and so they started to buy us out. So the whole first company that I was in, that started the whole thing, was we would go down for a day or a week. And then finally you'd go down and you just wouldn't go back. You would just stay down there because there was money down there, jobs.
Yeah.
I held out, but finally I was directing finally, because even then the director of the committee was bought out and didn't come back. So I was directing, and I thought, I wasn't on the stage. This is not what I dreamed of. This is like Detroit. How did I get here? Directing in San Francisco, an improv group, when I got a degree in industrial design and I can really clean bars. Really cool. So I thought, I'll go down there and be with everybody else. So I was couch surfing for a while. And you get caught up in the money thing, and then you start getting an expensive apartment because you're getting so much money, and then you got to audition for all these things to keep up your rent.
Yeah.
So it was like a horror trip. So now I was like trapped again, but there's no place else to go. If you can't do stand up and you can't do improv and you can't be an actor in Hollywood, or you don't like it, what else is there? You might as well be in Detroit.
Yeah.
It was driving me nuts. So I finally just, luckily, the weird thing was, I didn't realize that if you work enough in Hollywood, the union is really good. SAG-AFTRA is really good.
Yeah.
So I was auditioning and getting enough jobs, even though I wasn't liking it, but doing it because I had to pay for my car and my rent payments. So I had to keep up. So I had to keep auditioning. It was reversed. Instead of having fun, I was working to just pay the rent. And
yeah, it actually.
So what did I? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry.
What I did was I quit. I just had enough. I quit. I have dyslexia, so it's very hard for me to memorize the lines. Mm-hmm. And so that wasn't fun. Not only getting the job, not only auditioning was not fun, but then once you got the job, you had to memorize lines. And then people are telling you what to wear and where to stand. Don't bump into the other furniture. Don't bump into the other actors' furniture.
Yeah,
stay in your light.
Yeah, remember which hand you're holding the prop in.
So I quit, and the lucky thing that I never realized about the union and stuff was I had done so many or gotten so many jobs over the I think 50 years I was down there. You just get caught up. Time doesn't mean anything. You just audition, get another job, audition, get another job, audition, get another job. You're just on this roll of, and all of a sudden 10 years go by, 20 years go by, and your salary goes up. So you're thinking, hey, I'm doing great. When no, you're just getting more money and then getting a better apartment and then having to get a better job. So it's a dragon eating its tail.
Yeah.
It's going nowhere. So when I quit, I found out that I had done so many shows that I could retire on the residuals, and I was old enough to get, Social Security or whatever, and I could pay rent, just on that. So I didn't have to do anything. So that was a gift that came out of nowhere. I didn't realize it, until I said, I'm getting kind of old and I don't want to do this anymore. My hair's turning white and all the jobs are changing, because your hair's white now. You
Yeah.
do different kinds of characters. So, but I could stop. And so when I did Breaking Bad and Barry were the last two jobs I had. And Breaking Bad, I quit. I mean, I just said, this is the last job I'm doing. It's over. And I called my agents and I got rid of them and I said, I'm out.
Wow.
Because I had just enough to get food, rent, and my car payments in residuals and Social Security. And I said, okay, now what do I want to do? That was the next problem. I mean, it's really weird. It's a Dylan line. You get on the top and find that you're on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's just because it's steps. You get up one step and you go, oh, I got on the top of that step. Yeah, but there's another step. It's like white belt, black, blue belt, red belt, black belt, brown belt. Well, belt. But I finally figured I wound up on your show. That's how I got here.
Then you're here, right?
That's how I got here. So I gave you the whole trip. Was my life from college to talking to you.
Yeah,
literally, I just do podcasts now, and I paint and I write. I just finished a book which will come out in October. I got my fingers crossed.
Yeah,
it's called That Guy.
That guy.
Everybody. Oh, you're that guy. You're that guy from Friends, right? You're that guy.
That guy.
And I do, what do you call it? Like Comic-Con things, arena show where you sign autographs on your picture.
Yeah.
So those, they pay a lot of money. Well, no, they don't pay any money. But fans come and buy your autograph. So you do, so you can make a couple of $100 to there's stars who make thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, easily.
Signing. The lines around the block if you're a big star.
Yeah.
They get like $10,000. I made $2,000 in one sitting.
Yeah.
2 afternoons.
That's insane.
Signing stuff. So, but they're few and far between. And in COVID, there wasn't any. In COVID, everything shut down, and even the Comic-Con thing. So for 2 years, there was nothing. So I just lived on that. But now I just kind of, it's maybe that's the whole United States or maybe the entire planet. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I did. Oh man, I can't shut this off.
No,
there's no way it comes through the internet.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries.
It'll finally stop. Wait a minute, can I just do this?
No, it's okay.
No.
If you got to answer it, do your thing.
No. I don't want to answer. I don't know who that is. It's probably spam.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably spam, right? That's your extended car warranty, right?
What do you call? Yeah. So anyway, that's basically that's on that phone call. That's the end of the tour. So if you got any other questions,
yeah,
fine. I have nothing else to say.
You answered a lot of what I kind of came up with, but let me see here. Speaking of the audition rooms and everything, you seem really calm and collected, and I know we've talked in the past, and you just seem like a really outgoing guy. Have you ever had anxiety in the audition or struggling to learn?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. That was a big one, and that one I knew was my problem, so I couldn't, blame it on I don't like working here and I don't want to do this. And no, that was my problem. That was on me, the stress. But I also found out that that was one of the reasons I wanted to stop working and just quit and got out, and I had enough to pay rent and food and a car payment. So I wanted to work on me,
Yeah.
because all I did was memorize lines or memorize audition lines or audition or call and find out what's going on in the industry so I could get another job.
Yeah.
Pardon me. So you're just so caught up in everything that you don't have time to build any kind of build any kind of life, regular, with regular friends and regular girlfriends or
Yeah.
significant others or whatever you want to call it. So I figured, okay, now that I can stop working, I can get a life, and that's just as difficult as getting a job. I mean, getting a life is even harder. I should have stayed in the bar, man. I mean, literally, that was like easy. It was just, no responsibility whatsoever, and I could, go into it was a bar and grill. I could go into the larder or the refrigerator and take home, a sandwich or something. At least I get free food. So that was really weird. So when you say I seem calm, no, I still got the same problems because, I'm still with me.
Yeah.
I brought me along when I got out of the show business. And you don't think about that until it hits you and you go, oh, it's me.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not show business. It's me.
Because I know.
So it just worked. So I learned how to play the guitar, and I started to paint, and I started to do all this the crap that I wanted to do and didn't have time to do.
Yeah. And
that is kind of mellowing, and I did learn a lot about me and what I like to do and want to do, and slowly you start to build. But then COVID hit, man, and then all that crumbled, and then you're sequestered. And now that we're out of it, slowly but not really. That's another thing. Slowly but not really. We're getting out of it, but we're not getting out of it. We are, but we're not. Stay cool. You don't have to wear your masks, but wear your masks. So that's where we are right now. That's where I am right now on the 28th of whatever it is.
Of whatever month.
So, but the nerves, the whole point of that dissertation was that, no, the nerves haven't stopped. They've just switched when they show up. I thought it was the pressure of Hollywood getting a job, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But no, it's something in me that just under stress, I get stressed under stress.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, completely.
And then you start to realize it when you get away from what you thought that was stressing you out, and the stress is still there.
Yeah.
Like I was with some friends, and all of a sudden I was stressed. Or when I go to like parties, especially Hollywood parties. I'm not a schmoozer or anything like that. I can't. I don't understand that whole. I don't understand Hollywood. Really.
We spoke in the past too about writing. We bounced some scripts, and I remember you mentioned you were writing scripts. When did you find out about that ability that you had? When did you unlock that ability to write?
That was the upside of the COVID, the 2 years of COVID. Hollywood, everybody's sequestered, jobs started, and then also jobs started to happen, but you had to wear a mask and rehearse with a mask and audition with a mask, and then when you get on camera, you take the mask off for a certain, while the camera's rolling, so you can act, but you rehearse with a mask, and it was just. Now, I wasn't in that. I had already dropped out when COVID hit. I just dropped out about a month or two before COVID. Bam, okay, masks. So I didn't go through that, but I was glad that I was out because all my friends who were still working, that was very stressful. Auditioning with a mask and getting tested
Yeah.
Once you get on the set. That was a horror trip, man. That I just had explained to me. I didn't go through it, but I did sequester and stayed, in the house and stuff. I had nothing to do, so I started to write. That was just nothing to do. Learn to play the guitar and write.
Yeah, nice.
So I wrote 2 screenplays. I finished one screenplay that had started. And I go, okay, well. So once I finished that, I said, well, I'll start another one. I wrote another one. So that goes as another year goes by, a year and a half goes by between those 2. And then the last 6 months, the last 6 months, the last half of the second year, I decided, well, I don't want to write another screenplay. Let me try a book, because all these stories that I would tell friends, that were funny, or some of the stories that I told on stage, because I was a storyteller more than a joke teller.
Yeah.
I thought, sooner or later I'm going to forget all these routines and stuff. Let me just get them down. Just let me write them out. So I recorded them, and then the recordings were downloaded to a typewritten. There's apps for that. You can download. You can get printed out. Microsoft has apps that will print recordings, type out recordings. So I had that, and then I would tweak it and get it so you could read it. So that was the book. So and I finished the book, and then it takes another. November. I finished it in November, the end of November. I finished the book. So December, January, February, March, April, May. So that's 6 months, and I just got a literary agent for the book after I finished it 6 months ago.
Nice.
Writing query letters and getting friends to call people. I mean, so there's in other words, you can't get away from hating what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you keep on have to doing it. You do it because you love it.
Yep.
And then you get locked into, wait a minute, I got to keep doing this. No, that was I wanted to do that. See, painting, I don't have to keep doing. But, I can just do whenever I want to do it. I don't have to play the guitar. I can just learn it whenever I want.
Yeah. Yep.
And I do it every day, but whenever, sometimes I don't want to do it. No, but every once in a while, you hit something, you love it, and you just keep doing it, and then all of a sudden you're locked into it for some reason. I don't know what that is. You got to keep doing something.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I can relate to that.
Not a lot. When you're sequestered, you're crawling the wall. I guess prison comes to mind.
Yeah, that's it.
I understand prison. Well, anyway, so that's where the writing came from. I thought that because I was a performer who was semi-demi famous because of Heckles and Breaking Bad and all those other things, I thought, well, I had to have fans, and they'll buy the book. So what's the big problem? Well, you write the book about show business because you're just out of show business and you have time, and that's all you know because that's all you've been doing for years. And then you got a manuscript and you want to sell it in the book, but show business doesn't sell books. Book people sell books, and they only sell books to book people who read books. You walk along the beach, those people who are reading books, 80% are women. Those are book people. They have nothing to do with show business. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking show business, book, show business. And so all of a sudden I had to learn how to write query letters. That's another 3 months. Just learning how to write, like you learn how to write a script or you learn how to write a manuscript.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to write a script. But then you have learn how to write a query letter. And then you find out finally that query letters don't work. That's only how query letter teachers earn their living. It's telling you got to learn how to write a query letter if you want to sell a book.
Oh, yeah.
And so you do that and you learn, and then you send them out. I sent out about 50. You don't get any answers. Nobody answers them because they only want to talk to book people. And you're writing books about show business, and you're from show business, Larry, and we don't talk to people with show business. We only talk to book people. And then the next thing you go, okay, I'll become a book person. I'll learn how to sell a book. Well, you got to find a novelist who's already been on the bestseller list or some kind of list that they have their bona fides as a writer, as a novelist. And they're the people who get you into the book people. In other words, who do you know, Larry, that I know? Like a publisher or a literary agent will say, you can't get to them, but you get it through the grapevine.
Yeah.
No, you have to get somebody who knows somebody. You can't do it through letters and emails. It doesn't work.
Huh.
No, that comes to you after you've written enough query letters. People feel sorry for you and they tell you this. Oh no, the secret is you have to get a person to contact another person about you.
Your books. Tell us where everybody can purchase your books when it's available.
Well, okay, that's my big problem is it's coming out in October, but the contract, I don't know what's going on with the contract. The contract, they keep on telling me, well, the contract isn't, in other words, I signed it. I signed a contract and I sent it in. So now the publishers have to sign it and then send it back to my literary agent. So this is what book, you asked me about books and I'm talking about contracts. So that's all I know about books is the contract hasn't been finalized yet. So until the contract is finalized, I have no book. It's a fantasy.
Gotcha.
It's just bullshit from whoever I was talking to.
Gotcha.
So, I have a literary agent, and he says, yeah, it's going through. But until somebody says the contract is signed and tells me what the next step is, I don't know. I mean, I know what the book is about. It's about my life in show business. That's what the book is about. And it's a cautionary tale about things that I did that you shouldn't do. That's basically all it is. And things that I did that you shouldn't do that I got away with. So it's a cautionary tale, and it's kind of funny and dramatic.
Gotcha.
It's kind of funny and dramatic is the only thing I can tell you about. And there's stories that I've been telling for years to people, and I thought, well, let me just write them down, okay? Okay. I'm not. Are we recording right now?
Yeah, I'm under the assumption. Yeah, it is. It says 40 minutes at the top, so yeah, we are.
Oh, all right. We'll just continue.
All
All
right.
right. Yeah. I need to get something. Wait, I need to get something to drink.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll be right.
You're fine. Go for it.
Yeah. So I mean that's all I can really talk about it at the moment about the book, because what I've been doing for the last couple of days is making business cards and I've been designing the cover.
Oh, nice.
I am not in charge of designing the cover, but I took that upon myself, and I'm going to send it in. In the contract, it says that we both have to agree on the cover, the publisher and me. So I thought I would jump the gun by just designing it myself and sending it in and saying, this is my suggestion. The word suggestion would be the key word there. But we both have to agree on it. So that's what I've been doing as far as the book is concerned. I've been designing the business card and the cover.
Nice.
So that's what I know about the book.
Well, that's great. That's awesome.
But I the only other thing I can add is somebody told me, another novelist, another book writer who's been published, said that there's such a thing as pre-sale. I don't understand. There's a lot I don't understand, but I don't understand this thing about pre-sale. In other words, he told me that if your book is being published in October, one can pre-sell your book. Why anybody would buy a book that they can't get until it's published, but pay for it? I don't get that logic.
Yeah.
Why would anybody? In other words, I can advertise and say, "Hey, you can buy the book in September, and it will be published and put out in October." So, do they think that, well, if you order it in September, it won't be sold out and you won't be able to get it in October? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's weird.
So, but that's what I can do. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but these are the things that I know that have nothing to do with the book itself. I got all this information and all this. You do this and do that, and we agree to this. But as far as I know, the book will come out in October. That's about, and it's about my life in the show business. It's a cautionary tale.
Okay.
Oh, that's the whole. You know as much as I do.
Gotcha. That's cool. That's great. What about your graphic design work? I've seen a little bit of that on social media, and that's awesome. It's
well,
cool.
I mean, those are my paintings, so I know a little about graphic design. But my knowledge, and I went to art school for a little while. I mean, it was part of my matriculation in college. I was an industrial designer, so I had to go to engineering school and art school at the same time. Weirdness. So the artwork, again, we have to agree on the cover. So my artwork now is, geared towards designing the cover of the book. But I designed one cover of the book, and they didn't like my expression. They took my face has to be on the cover because I'm only known facially. Nobody knows my name. I mean, people go, "Oh, you're that guy." Oh, yeah, right, on television. So I had a picture taken, and I did the graphic design of it, and then the publisher said, "Yeah, well, it's a great design, but I don't like your expression." What do you mean? Expression? That's my face.
Yeah.
So I went and I got a friend who's a professional photographer, and he took several more photos of my face. And so I've been looking at them, and I picked one, like I did for the first cover. I picked one, and I designed the graphics, and I'm about to send that in. So that's the extent of my graphic designs. I can't show it to you because I didn't bring it with me, and it's in the computer anyway. I haven't printed it out yet.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's what I should do. Well, that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to print out my business card and my new cover, and then I'll go for a walk.
Sounds like a plan, right?
Yeah. So that's my That's my cover design, my graphics, experience.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, like I was gonna say, where do you get inspiration from? Just anything? Like if you're at a coffee shop and you see something, does that?
Well, no, not at all.
No?
Actually, there's a program that I watch now. I don't watch much television at all. I mean, I don't watch narratives at all. They just bore me to death.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me they're all the same. They're either it's a cop show and somebody did something bad, or the other things like news and Nova. Yeah. I like Nova, but that's about it. So I don't know what's going on. Where do I get my inspiration? Okay, so what I do is the reason I brought that up about I don't watch much watch television. There is one program I do watch, and I get my inspiration from that. If you want a place that I get inspiration from, this guy named Ian. He does. He cuts and chops cars. He like funny cars and low riders and stuff like that. So he makes them. He lives out on the desert, and he has a TV show. It's an hour show about how, and you just watch him chop and cut cars, and then put them back together again in a different way, and they come out really incredibly great. I mean, it's just so. As an artist, because he just starts. He uses like a car as a block of Chiara marble, and he just says, "Okay, I'm going to chop and cut this car and make it look really cool." And that's people give him their cars to do that.
Oh, that's cool.
So he does it, and in over an hour, you can see him cut and chop and put it back together again and weld and solder and everything like that. And at the end of the hour, it's amazing what he did. And you watch him do this. And it's with steel and blow torches and metal bending machines. And he does it. He puts it together. So while he does it, he talks. He talks you through it, what he's doing. Well, now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do that. But he has no plan, and that's what he keeps on insisting on every show. What he does is he looks at the car and he says, "Okay, I have an idea." And then he starts to cut and chop the car. But all through it, he says, having an idea is not the finished article, because when you start anything, especially in art, I guess, you start and each time you make a change to go towards the idea, that change affects how you go towards that idea. And sometimes you make a change towards that idea, but when you get it done, especially in steel and metal, like he does with cars, it doesn't work out that way. In other words, oh, wow, this is great what I did. This is what I wanted to do to the car. But it makes it more difficult for me to continue on with the idea I first had.
Yeah.
Which you understand. Okay, and he tells you that. And he says, so I have to make an adjustment, but I don't go back. I only go forward, which is great, because, in other words, he then changes not the idea so much, but the concept of the idea. So that he has an idea, and because what he did makes it more difficult, he adapts the idea and the next thing he does. So at the end of the hour, you see, wow, the idea that he had at the beginning of the hour, no, he did it, but in a weird way that is not quite the idea, but it's actually better than the idea.
Yeah.
Well, so I take that to heart, and I go, okay, you have an idea, and you just go for it. And then he also goes to, sort of in the middle of the show, he'll go to a funny car show, or these weirdly built, great-looking lowrider cars, these shows. So that's where he gets his ideas. I mean, he says, I'm gonna chop this thing down really low. It's gonna be a low rider, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna go to a show where they do those kind of cars. So he also shows you where he gets, where he gets his ideas from, or where he's designing towards. This kind of car, these kind of cars, or these kind of cars, or trucks, or he does motorcycles, he does trucks, he does anything. He does his own car.
That's crazy.
Show he designed his, he chopped and chopped. He only uses used stuff. He doesn't buy anything new, and he doesn't work on new cars.
Wow.
He only works on junkers, and then he makes them brilliantly great and shiny new. He starts from junkers, so I guess that's a long way of explaining where I get my ideas. I just start. Like that painting there, that painting there. I kind of had an idea of a hoodie, of a guy in a hoodie. It was a picture, and I thought, yeah, let me make a painting of a guy in a hoodie.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's how it ended up. Well, I ended up with a guy in a hoodie, but it's nothing like the picture.
It's cool.
It's a guy in a hoodie.
Yeah.
And this one, I just wanted to. I had an idea of, stop telling me to shut up. Okay, that was the idea. So I came with that. Just want to tell me to shut up? Fuck you.
That's awesome, though. That's so cool.
So then that's where the idea came from. And I didn't know about throwing the stuff. I just wanted to get that in there, and then I said, well, and then these drips of paints and stuff. Oh well, let me drip some paint.
Yeah.
I don't have to finish his arm. I could just I don't have to draw the rest of his head. Let me just I'll suggest the things, and
Yeah.
the background. I don't know what that is. Wallpaper. I don't know. But you just go for it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's what he said. Just go for it.
That's so cool, though. That's awesome. Are you gonna make any Are you gonna do shirts or anything with your designs, or are you just making?
Am I gonna do what?
Like shirts, or are you gonna just do like
Well,
canvases?
no, those are. I did 40 of these. These are 40 paintings that I did when I had time. I had 40 paintings worth of time, and so I did them, and they're all supposed to be that big. So I have them up on my website, all 40, and like this painting here, and this painting. This one is worth. This one cost $500. This one cost $400.
Gotcha. Nice.
Which is too. I mean, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't buy these. I mean, I did them, so I kept them, but I didn't pay for them. So all 40 things, they cost between $300 and $500. So my fans and me in particular, it's way above my price range. They're too arty for me. So I put them on T-shirts, and those are like $13 or something like that. So if you want my paintings, you can get a T-shirt, and you go to my website, thereallarryhankin.com, and you can buy a painting. I mean, they're museum worthy. In other words, I use museum inks and museum canvases, and if you made a painting and that you wanted in a museum, you use this stuff.
That's so cool.
So they're really the real deal, but they're very expensive. I think I sold 2 in the last year.
Gotcha.
Actually, there were good sales. One guy was building a new sound studio, and he needed something big for the wall. Bingo! I think it was this one. So that's great. In other words, he had 4 bare walls, and it was new, and he was building the whole thing. So the painting went into the building budget.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just out of his pocket to hang in his living room. Although that's what I made them for. Nobody can afford the living room. You need a really big living room. Whatever. So that's all I do really with my artists. But I don't have any time anymore to paint. So
yeah.
those 40 are it for now. For a while, I got because I got to do the book. Pre-sale. I got and then I have to, when the book comes out, if it ever does. I'll be working on selling that, and signing that. Like I just went to one of those Comic-Con things.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a Comic-Con. It was a something con. Like a signing thing where you sign autographs. Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So I just went to one of those. So if the book comes out, they have book things like that. Or I can just take, my book and go sign the book.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
So I was just doing that over the weekend in Burbank.
Nice.
I'll only go to a place where I won't fly. I don't fly anymore because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because of COVID. I mean, oh no, and the planes, their schedules are all screwed up now because they don't have enough pilots. So I was supposed to go to London to do a. That is. I mean, I don't understand. I just don't understand. I was supposed to go to London. They were going to fly me to London and pay me thousands of dollars, $5,000, to go there and sign autographs, just like I did in Burbank. I drove to Burbank. They want me to, because I drove to Burbank, but I can't. So they wanted me to fly to London to do the same thing, the exact same thing. Swear to God, that I did in Burbank. They want me to do it in London. And they would fly me there, pay me $5,000, guaranteed, on top of whatever I could make. But I turned it down because of this of scheduling, of flight scheduling. All the planes are canceling flights like crazy, and I don't want to be stuck in Europe.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that would be just weird.
Yeah.
And then the airports are just, sort of crowded, and it's not good for COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
So I'm getting really very picky in my golden age. Well, yeah, they go, yeah, but it's $5,000. Yeah, but I don't want to go.
Yeah, right.
Kind of evens out.
Yeah, right. You can pick and choose.
I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, in other words, right now, it's worth or it's not worth the trauma to my body of worrying about whether I'm going to get COVID or be able to fly out of London back to America.
Yeah.
That $5,000. That's not worth $5,000.
No. Yeah.
I don't know how much it's worth, but there are now autograph agents. There's not agents for everything.
Yeah.
I have one and he got me this wherever I went, Burbank. This Burbank gig, this signing thing, and I did well. I was he because he has other clients who were there, and he said, I think I did better than his other clients, frankly.
Nice, yeah.
So it's worthwhile if I. But right now, like I say, in this time, I just don't like to be taken out of my comfort zone. There you go. It's a comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's it. You cannot pay me to get out of my, and I'm in one, right? Kind of now.
Yep.
So
I like. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. If I was in your shoes, I'm trying to think what I got else for you over here. How about a dream director? Who would you love to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Wow, that's. Well, I worked with my dream director already. Well, I worked with one I didn't know. Okay, I worked with John Huston. John Huston would be a dream director. I worked with him on Annie. He directed Annie, so I worked with him. I spoke with him. I hung out with him. So yeah, but I would work with him for free, man.
Yeah.
That guy's he's just a great Homo sapien on planet Earth.
Right,
I mean, okay. Now, one that I worked with and didn't know he was one of the greater Homo sapiens on the planet was Don Siegel, and I worked with him on Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
And I was with him for 3 months, and he's the greatest. Now, he's passed on now.
Mm-hmm.
But we were going to make a movie together, and that never happened. But I'm very proud of that. I'm more proud of what we were going to do and never did than anything I've ever done, really. I mean, because he's such a great director. I hung out with him for 3 months, and we had dinner together. Well, one time when we were talking about a movie, we spoke on the phone after the movie was over, and he said, "Hey, let's have dinner and talk about what else we're going to do." I said, "Oh, okay." So we had dinner and together, and we spoke about a movie that I had written that he wanted to direct. So we were all set to go, man.
Yeah.
And then he up and passed away. So
That's unfortunate.
there you go. So those are two I worked with, and they were the dream directors. But one that I haven't worked with that I would like to, and another with Larry David. I worked with Larry David, and he was one I would love to work with. But I worked with him. He's great. Let me see one that I haven't worked with. You don't know until you work with somebody, whether they really are a great director or not.
Yeah.
Let me see. Well, see, I'm not up on the. I guess. Who directed? I don't know. If I didn't work with them, I don't know their names. I don't know many modern directors. I haven't gone to the movies since COVID started. 5 years. I haven't gone to the movies in about 4.5 years.
Wow.
I've watched movies on television, DVDs.
Yeah.
But there was just something to do. I haven't looked. In the last 5 years, I kind of dropped out of acting. I was writing a book. I was doing my paintings. I was learning music, guitar.
That's cool.
I'm writing songs and stuff. So acting is kind of on a really, really back burner.
Yeah.
So I don't think in those terms anymore.
Gotcha.
I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I'd like to do one of my own movies, and then. So I've been looking for, in that way, I've been looking for a director, but I haven't. Who if I could raise the money for this movie, who would I get to direct?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And no dream director comes to mind, except I haven't found one yet.
Gotcha.
So if you can think of one, let me know.
All right, yeah. I tried to get him.
Those are the three dream directors I kind of work with. Larry David, Don Siegel, and John Huston. You can't get better than those three, really.
No.
I mean,
Heck
you can
no.
equal them.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. Like when I get this book dropped, as they say, when is the book going to be dropped? That's a funny expression.
What?
When I get that, so after October, I'll start thinking about directors again. Right now I'm busy designing covers and trying to get the contract done, blah blah blah, and writing songs. I got a couple of good ones.
I was gonna say we're getting kind of low on time. Real quick, any plans to do anything musically, like start a band or make an album or anything? Maybe eventually.
Do I have any plans? Well, no, because everything is tied up in this damn book drop. Then they want me to do an audio book of it.
Wow.
And an audio book is where the money is, because everybody's now buying audio books, and nobody has time to read buying audio books. So I've been setting up my apartment here for audio, because I got to do it myself.
I just auditioned for an audiobook, actually. I think it was beginning of June.
Voiceovers for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to do it myself, because they sell more. If the author does the voiceover.
Ah,
It sells better.
gotcha.
But I've been trying to do it, and it's just too much work. So I'm still trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, because you got to have a silent place, and I don't have a silent place. Right out here is a main road.
Oh, all right.
There's cars going by, and motorcycles and buses, and then the bedroom is also on the same side of the building. So
Yeah.
I can't do the bedroom, the buses and stuff. And then here in this room, I got a kitchenette over there, so the refrigerator goes on and off.
Oh yeah, the noise. Yep. Yep.
So and I can't shut the damn thing off.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
couple of hours thing, I can't do it. So I'm kind of stuck looking for how to do a narration and whether I should do it at all.
Yeah.
So the future is kind of like
Yeah.
static. I'm trapped in this little bubble now of the book dropping and what can I do at home, and I don't want to travel too far for the signing.
Yeah.
So, but luckily, I get residuals, so that pays the rent while I'm looking for the next thing. So
That's
the rent
perfect.
is being paid by my residuals from the work I did. And maybe I'll go back to acting. Maybe that's in the future, but it won't be for another year. Well, there's two problems with doing the narration for a book. First of all, I wouldn't be being paid. You know, like if you hire somebody, you get paid to be a narrator.
Yeah.
So you would be paid, but I have to pay for it myself. That's one thing, and that's a couple of $1,000s to get a studio. The second thing, even more important, is I've tried. You know, I've rehearsed and practiced reading from my own book. It's not that easy reading from a book and making it palatable to your ears.
Yeah.
I don't know, hearable. You know, there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
There's a way to do a book or an audio book, and it's not acting. I thought, well, I'm an actor, I can do it, and it's not that easy. I recorded myself and then listened to it back, and I wouldn't buy the book.
Oh man.
No, it's not easy because you can't act. You've got to, you got to be like the page.
Yeah.
Somebody explained it to me that way. The page isn't acting. You're reading it and you get it in your head. The page is just words. So you got to be words, but saying it into a microphone, and that's very, well, for me, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
so that's what I'm about.
Gotcha.
Just-
Well, thank you so much, Larry. Yeah, we're down to a minute and a half now. So
Okay, well, take it easy.
yeah,
And
and
we'll talk soon.
yeah, we'll talk soon for sure. For sure.
Okay.
So thank you, Larry. I appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Thank you.
Bye, Brian.